Date, how's Gary and Markel doing?
Gary's well. He got on the court with us a little bit. Markel's still, dealing with a little bit of patella tendonitis, so we're going to keep him day to day and see where he is from there.
Other teams, players, coaches who have already played in-season tournament games have talked about how there's like a certain level of intensity, kind of like a playoff environment in a sense. How excited are you to play in that kind of environment? I'm sure the guys are ready.
I think the guys are definitely ready. They're watching the games on TV. They're seeing the different courts and what it looks like. And I've heard a couple of guys and a couple of teams talk about the intensity going up. And for us, we want to just continue the same level of growth and focus that we have throughout, these first games. And I think it's going to be great.
I know every game is important in their own way, but with the stakes as high as they are in this in-season tournament, do you feel like having success in it will just build more momentum for the rest of the year?
I think anytime you can string wins together, obviously it being the in-season tournament, that adds to it. But I just really think it's a great opportunity for guys just to continue to show what they're capable of doing at the high level of competition, with those stakes being more for the bragging rights of that in-season.
I know rebounding is a super important stat for you. Sometimes it gets overlooked, obviously, because it's not one of those highlight reel plays, but how much do you prioritize it as far as the messaging to your team?
I think it's big. Our guys have to make sure that they're finishing possessions out. I think we have to. It's the basis of our defense. Obviously we want to defend without fouling, make sure that we're keeping our hands up, hands out. But you have to be able to finish possessions in order to be a good defensive team.
Brooklyn runs a very by-committee approach, just similar to where you guys do. How do you prepare against a team like that when there's so many people that can be the leading scorer on any given night?
You've got to know you have to take on the individual challenge first for each guy, but for us it's 1 versus 5. When they go into those individual situations, they got to know that they're going to see a crowd, they're going to see guys behind them, so that we're going to protect the rim and then get out to the shooters that they have. We'll work on different coverages, different situations that we're going to see in the way in which they play.
Do you have maybe a particular or specific goal for this road trip coming up?
No, I think every single game we continue to get better. We continue to work on the things that we need to do. Obviously that becomes part of knocking down our free throws, taking care of the basketball, defensive rebounding the ball, crashing the glass offensively, and continuing to share it. How do we continue to get better of sharing the ball, moving the basketball, and trusting each other as a team?
I know he hasn't played a whole lot, but how do you feel about Jet's progression in practice so far these first few weeks of the season?
Jet's been very good. He's staying in the gym, getting his extra work in, studying the film with the coaches on where he can continue to improve and get better. And again, he's maturing more. He's doing a great job with this group of learning the system and understanding what is exactly we need from him every time when he's ready to step on the court. Thank you, guys.
We want to win the whole thing. It's great, and so for sure, I think the league has done this purposefully, and everybody, especially with the first ones that have already happened, everybody's pretty locked in and wanting to win. So we're right there.
Coach, after last game, was just marveling at your defense. Obviously, that's what you're best known for. But when he talks about you potentially being a defensive player of the year at some point, does that just give you some added confidence when you go up against guys like Giannis, LeBron, and so forth?
Honestly, look, I coming into the season, coming into the NBA, I knew. What I am, defensively, and just the way that I play the game, and continue to work on my offensive game has been something that I focused on, and defense has always been something that I haven't had to think about. I never really think about it. I want the challenge, and I try my best to play off my instincts and be there, make it hard on guys to score, and I just, let what happens on the defensive end happen. So when I hear Defensive Player of the Year, when I hear all this stuff, I'm just like, that's what I am, and so I just got to continue to walk in it and approach each game the same. My job is to make it tough on their best player and go from there.
How are you feeling? Obviously you played a lot of key moments, a lot of key minutes the last couple games. Do you feel like your body's kind of holding up in these circumstances?
For sure. So I'm definitely getting the flow of, coming into the game, sitting down, road trips and everything like that. So it's definitely been something that I've had to adjust to, but I feel like the more and more that I've played, I've gotten more and more comfortable out there on the floor and just gelling with the guys, and excited to see where this goes.
Shifting gears from the defensive aspect of your game, what about offensively? Where do you think that you're improving, and what are you looking towards getting better at?
I think first and foremost, just continue to shoot open shots. And definitely hadn't had the hottest start from three, but the last few games I definitely feel more comfortable letting it fly. So when I get them open, let it go, and let the cars fall where they may, and then just being a cutter, offensive rebounding, getting out in transition, running with the guys is something that I can get easy points. And just finding ways to contribute on the offensive end and defensive end.
You got Brooklyn, Chicago, Indiana, first East road trip for this team. What have you seen from maybe any of those teams that you've scouted so far?
Well, Brooklyn, they definitely go small a lot. And so I'm interested to see how we combat that and how we play with them. Haven't watched too much of Chicago. I usually watch the other team the night before we play them, the last game. So we'll see. I know they're both good teams. Brooklyn has been doing well the last couple. Chicago not so much. So we'll just figure it out.
And playing small, you played some 5 in the last couple of games here. How comfortable do you feel in that role?
I feel pretty comfortable. Just continuing to learn. I haven't played it, ever in my life really. So setting screens, getting out, running the floor, and just being a defensive anchor at the 5 is something that I'm comfortable with and still getting used to.
Yeah, when you make a big defensive play, like block on Giannis the other night or whatever, how much do you feel the energy shift, both within the team and sometimes in the crowd, like when you're at home? I've seen you interact with him a bit after a few of the big plays. How much do you feel that energy shift?
Well, a ton. I know that, especially with this team, the coaching staff, they appreciate it. When I make a stop or make a play, it's not something just like, the defensive end is not something that we worry about, and we know Jay, I can do that, so we don't have to celebrate it. The team goes out of their way to celebrate me doing that, and it encouraged me to continue to do so. So just keep letting it rip, and just keep moving forward.